Good morning, kiddos. I hope my video message finds you well. Today, we are going to make suns, symmetrical suns. Remember that whatever's on one side is a mirror image on the other side. We're going to start with some elements of art. You would definitely start with line, and once your lines touch and connect, they become shapes. So a line is a dot that travels, and once it touches and connects, it becomes a shape. So there's different types of shapes. There's geometric shapes, which are two-dimensional, like squares, circles, ovals, hearts, diamonds. They have height, how tall it is, and width, how wide it is. But remember I said a line is a dot that travels, and once it connects, it becomes a shape. So it doesn't always travel so neatly and follow mathematics like geometric shapes. There's actual organic freeform shapes, and these shapes represent shapes in nature. We're also going to, I already said symmetrical balance. Your sun's face is symmetrically balanced. Whatever's on one side is a mirror image on the other side. And we're also going to cover the color wheel today. And we're going to talk about primary colors, secondary colors, and intermediate colors. So for this lesson, you're going to need a pencil. I know some of you are running out of supplies at home, so you can use whatever supplies you have. Really, it's okay. I'm gonna use Crayola watercolors, a Sharpie. I still have some construction paper at home, but if you had watercolor paper, sorry. If you had watercolor paper, you could use that. You can use whatever materials you have. It's totally fine. And you don't have to watercolor. You could use Crayola markers. You could use crayons. I'm an art teacher, so I just happen to have these at home. Crayolas or oil pastels. I'm going to show you how to use these, but you don't have to use them. All right. So we're going to get started. I am going to leave it up to you. When I folded my paper, I actually folded it like a landscape and not a portrait. But if you want a longer sun, you can fold yours like a portrait. So I'm going to fold mine like a hamburger or landscape way. So you take one side of your paper and you roll it over and you make sure it lines up with the other side, and then you crease or fold. So look, my fold is in the middle of my paper. I need to draw on my fold. If I draw on my open side, so look, this is my closed side or the middle of my paper. This is my open side. If I draw my open side, I'm actually going to get part of a sun here and part of a sun here and negative space here. So I want to make sure I'm drawing on my fold. And I'm drawing half a circle. I've seen kids draw half a heart and have a heart face for their suns. So I'm just going to start with half a circle, and I'm keeping in mind that I need room for my shapes for my sun rays. So I just sketch out half a circle and I leave space here because I know I want to draw some sun rays. So if I'm drawing half the sun's face, how many eyes do you think I would need? One, that's good. And you don't want to draw it too close to your fold because then you're going to have a cyclops. So you want to make sure you leave a space from the fold out, and you're going to place the eyes just like human facial feature placement. So I'm just going to do a real simple eye. I started with part of a moon shape, crescent, and then I'm coming down with a C curve. And then I'm drawing part of a circle because I'm implying that the eyelid overlaps part of that circle. So there's not just a circle eyeball in there. And then I'm gonna have a heart pupil. See that? So far I have all geometric shapes. That's not true because this is a line. Anyway, so I have a circle, part of a circle, a heart, crescent, and you do actually want to draw half a nose, because if you draw a whole nose, you're gonna have two of them, which is bizarre, so don't do that. So I'm just going to draw half a nose, and I'm going to connect it to the fold, just like that. You can have any shape. You can have half of a triangle, half of a circle if you just want a cute little button nose. And then I'm only gonna draw half a mouth, and I'm gonna connect it to my closed fold. So look, one full eye, half a nose, half a mouth, half a circle for the head. And then with this one, I made organic shapes, shapes that represent nature, okay? And you could see I went a little more fancy with the eyes and the eyebrow. You can make it as fancy or as simple as you'd like. So I'm going to start with triangles that overlap. And I'm gonna try to break up my negative space. So remember, positive space is where there's line, shapes, and colors, and negative space surrounds the positive space or hugs the positive space. So right now, all of this is negative space. So I can exaggerate, stretch the truth. I can exaggerate and make my rays a little bit bigger, and I'm overlapping one shape in front of another to make more rays, so it takes up space, okay? So you need to trace this with a little bit darker medium. So I actually used a Sharpie, but if you're not allowed to use a Sharpie, go ahead and get a black crayon. You could use a black Crayola marker, but just keep in mind, if you're watercoloring, it's going to run. Now, mine's already traced or outlined with a black Sharpie. All I did was I went to my window, I don't know if you could see this. I went to my window, I put my drawing against the window. Here we go. I put one side against the window, and then I just traced the other side. So when I opened it up, I had a symmetrical sun. It's so easy because you only draw it one time on half of your paper, and then you just trace what you already drew. But you have to pay attention to the lines you see, okay? So put one side against the glass, and then you trace the other side. Now I'm just gonna put my example away, and I'm gonna get started. If you are watercoloring, if you are watercoloring, make sure you have your water ready, your paintbrush. I like to keep paper towels handy, just in case I have to do some lifting and layering or clean up a mess. Maybe I spill my water, I don't know. All right, so here we go. You can choose any colors you want, but I'm just gonna go over your primary colors. Your primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. Now, they come first in the color wheel. If you have those three colors, you can make anything. So, when I say anything, you can make any other color on the color wheel. So look, yellow and blue make green. Green is a secondary color. Yellow and red make orange. Orange is a secondary color. Blue and red make violet. Now, some of my little kids, you still say purple, and that's totally fine. It's the same color. So red, red and blue make violet. So that's our primary colors, yellow, blue, I hear geese, yellow, blue, and red. And then our secondary colors, once you mix two primaries, are green, orange, and violet. But my favorite color group are intermediates. That's when you go to a primary and a secondary that are next to each other and have a common color, because you need yellow to make orange. Well, you mix your primary and your secondary and you get the third color, which is an intermediate or a tertiary color. But the cool thing is that it's easy to remember because they don't even change names. It just is yellow plus orange is yellow-orange. So as you can see, there's smaller circles on my color wheel. There's 6. So yellow-orange, red-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, and yellow-green. So those are the colors I'm gonna focus on today. And if you have crayons, you actually, these colors are in your crayon set. But if you only have like a smaller pack, it's okay. You just actually color on top of each other. So yellow and orange, I would start with yellow first and just add orange over a little bit. So you guys can mix colors. You can try with markers. It's a little harder, but all right. So I'm going to just show you. I have my water right here. My brush is already wet. I'm going to start with red. I'm going to show you how to do a gradual change in color. I'm going to start with red. And I'm going to just put some red right here in case I need it in a minute and get a little bit of water. Okay? Now I'm not going to paint my whole sun, but I'm just going to show you, since it's symmetrical, I'm going to start, I just want to start with this one. You can start anywhere in your sun, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, but I'm going to start with this one. And if I drag my finger across, that would mean this ray has to be exactly the same or mirror image as that ray. So I'm going to start with just red, a pretty bold red. And remember, red is a primary. So look, I only painted part of it. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm not gonna clean my brush because this, I'm about to make an intermediate. I'm just gonna get a little water and I'm gonna go right into the orange, and I'm loading my paintbrush up with orange. And I'm gonna mix it with that little red that I left in my paint palette. That was awkward. I'm gonna mix it with a little red. So now I have like a red-orange. I'm gonna get a little bit more water to thin out my color. Now, if you have watercolor paper, it just looks even better, but if you don't, that's fine. I'm using construction paper. It's you have to be really careful that you don't paint over it too many times because then it'll just break through. So I have a gradual change. So I have red to red-orange. Red-orange is my intermediate. And then I'm just gonna go grab some orange. I cleaned my brush, by the way, so I don't have any red in it anymore. This would definitely be for older students if you wanna do all that. The red, red-orange, orange. And then I would go directly across and I'd go red, red-orange, orange. So it's symmetrical. Okie dokie. But just to show you guys, let's experiment. I'm gonna get an orange marker and a red marker. So I'm gonna experiment with you for those of you who don't have watercolor. So I'm starting with red. Went a little bit further. See that? It's a little more vibrant color than my watercolors. And I'm overlapping. I'm interlocking my marker lines. I'm overlapping them. I do feel it's a little more sectional. But you can kind of see a little bit of red-orange in there, okay? You could even get a wet paintbrush or even a Q-tip and get it wet. And then remember, you can paint over it with water. Now, if you're using copy paper, I would just color with markers because the watercolor might go right through it. So that's the example with markers and painting, and then the watercolor. I did say I was going to show you how to use oil pastel. Now, I don't know if you have them at home, but I'm going to do red-orange just to show you. If you're using oil pastels, you want to make sure you clean them off, because I could see purple in here, and purple and orange do not go together. Purple and red do not go together. Oh no, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Purple and orange do not go together. I'm losing my marbles. All right. You just want to make sure you don't have other colors on here. I use this with purple, but I'm going to use it with orange. So if I had purple on here, I could make brown, and I don't want to do that. So just want to show you guys. So I started horizontal coloring with red, and then I'm going to overlap part of it with the orange. And then I'm going to blend it in the same direction with my finger. Yeah, I could see some purple in here. So it's red, red, orange, just orange. And let's put, because yellow, orange would come next, just to show you guys the gradual change in color. And I'm coloring them in one direction. When I show you, you can kind of see the little marks where I had purple. So red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange. So just a reminder, it's just to make intermediate. So yellow, orange, and red, orange. So when you make an intermediate, it's just a primary and a secondary put together. Okie dokie. Well, I hope you guys get to color your whole sun in today. I can't wait to see your colorful suns. One more suggestion, you don't make the face a human color. Make sure you're using only the colors on the color wheel, and whatever you do on one side, you do on the other side. So I hope you guys have fun creating, and if you have any questions, you can always email me. So I hope you guys are well, and I hope you have fun making the suns, and God bless.